Men of Reddit, what myth about men is 100% untrue and infuriates you when you hear it? That men find it normal to cheat and brag about it. I hate when I hear from someone when I have my kids and my wife is working that I'm babysitting. It drives me insane. I don't babysit. I'm raising my kids. I'm not a volunteer or a hired hand. Ugh. If a woman physically assaults a man, he somehow must have done something to deserve it. This gets even worse in those cases where male victims of domestic abuse are getting arrested in case the police gets called, even though they are the victims and not the attacker. I called the cops once on an abusive ex who had threatened to kill herself as a way to manipulate me to stay with her. When they arrived, they treated me like I was a criminal. Men just wait around for a woman to inform them that they are now dating. I'm not trying to claim that women come up to me in bars especially often, but on the rare times they do, there is a definite sense of, I am under no obligation to actually attract you as a mate. I exist and am female, and therefore by default you want to date me. Once, when I tried to politely decline, the woman chastised me in the bar for 5 minutes demanding to know what my excuse was, what reason I could give her. She simply assumed that the default was that I, as a man, want to date any woman, and that I have to justify not being attracted to a specific one. Real men don't have emotions. Yeah, go to hell. Erections mean we want sex. Even as adults, they can still be random. Or lack of erection meaning we don't. The whole shit with you are a man when it comes to pain, lifting, sadness, etc. If you expose us to radiation we gain superpowers. In reality this has only happened a few times and most men would just die. That men have to be brave and strong all the time. I love being the little spoon in bed with my so. Nothing makes me feel safer and calmer than having her wrap her arms around me and cuddle in. Daughter to a single dad here. There was this myth I discovered when I was young. It's something almost all my female friends were told, but thankfully not me. The myth is the belief that there are such things as girl business where only your mom or other older females in the family should help you with. As the only girl in the house growing up, my dad helped me understand and deal with a great many girl business problems. Meanwhile all my friends had their moms to handle it for them. When my friends found out my dad was sort of in charge of handling those with me they were shocked. They asked me why I didn't have an aunt or grandma to help instead. Well, my aunts all live at least 10 hours away and grandma is even further. I began to realize over the years that there might actually be negative side effects to this girl's only way of thinking. Sure, having another female assist you with those issues might be less awkward and embarrassing, but there's already an inherent awkwardness and embarrassment associated with it. Learning to overcome the embarrassment is part of growing up and accepting your body. Furthermore, I have since grown up and began studying psychology, and done some research into this further for my studies. I'd have to do a more in-depth and wide-reaching survey and analysis to come to findings I'd be comfortable with being peer-reviewed. But I have a theory that the girls-only mentality causes relationship issues later in life. Young girls grow up thinking that there are some aspects of womanhood men not only don't understand but can't understand. It makes them not only less trusting of male partners, but also keeps them from seeing men as equals when it comes to parenting. Sure, if you're a mom of a young girl, there's no reason for you to not continue helping her with all the complex feminine issues she's going through. Just be careful not to make her think her dad doesn't empathize or understand too. Don't make him this distant third party who will never get it, or someone who should not be involved because he has a penis. That's the same toxic female attitude that causes soccer moms to call the cops on a dad when he takes his daughter to the park to play. Men can parent too, and they're surprisingly good at raising young girls on their own. Men think about sex every X amount of seconds. I'm a grown man with a life. I have more to think about than just sex. Agreed. I also just thought about sex. No, I'm not going to a strip club. No, that doesn't mean I'm gay. Where to start? I was a stay-at-home dad for 2 years. The sheer volume of Karens at parks and playgrounds used to drive me up a wall. They were always dumbfounded when I didn't need their help. Yes, I can change a diaper. Probably faster than you can. Yes, I have snacks. Celery, carrots and a little ranch. Yes, I have drinks, water bottles and juice boxes. Yes, I have lunch, chicken cutlet sandwiches. No, we didn't buy them at the deli. I can actually cook. No, I don't need wine. It's 10 a.m. Karen, get a grip. That we miss signs that women give them because they are stupid. We see them, but we don't want to be creepy, jump to conclusions. That dads are dopey morons barely capable of caring for themselves, let alone their kids. My girlfriend of almost 9 years made a joke like this in front of her friends after we started living together. The first time I let it slide, because I wasn't sure what she meant. I asked in private, and she didn't know. She just said it. The second time I stopped and said, who's the one that goes grocery shopping for healthy meal preps that you end up wasting? Who does 90% of the cooking? When was the last time you cleaned the counter, let alone the toilet? She's never brought it up since. I've met dudes that complain about this, but then use it as an excuse to be lazy. If I did that, we'd be living in filth. And I just don't have that in me. That we cannot parent as well as a woman. That we need a random woman to come hold a man's child because they're crying. That we are babysitting when our spouse isn't with our babies. That we are not afraid of walking alone through a dark car park at night, after a great deal of asking everyone from police to self-defense instructors, to a Green Beret and a bunch of combat vets, to the most cracked-out gun nuts. Not met a single person who had no fear. I probably don't want to you. It's usually a decision figuring out if I actually want to sleep with you even if I'm already interested. Although promoting ourselves as Captain Horndog makes us look cool to other guys, so a lot of dudes do that. Or they're desperate. That we would have sex with anything that has a heartbeat. 100% untrue. I've had sex with inanimate objects too. I am not a male myself, but I hope it is okay for me to comment. It really annoys me when people say that men cannot be raped because if they got a hard-on they must have wanted it. Shit like that causes men to not report rapes and makes them feel shit about themselves. Anyone can be raped, no matter age, sex, or if the rapist is married to them. No means no. It is as simple as that. He was hard, so it wasn't rape is easily matched with she was wet, so it wasn't rape. Too many people have a serious lack of understanding for how the human body works. That if we like children but don't have children of our own, we're automatically given at the very least a little grilling, if not straight out asked if we're a pedophile. I like dogs too, for pretty similar reasons. Nobody ever asks me if I'm a dog. Are you a dog? Well, thank you for asking. No, I'm not. Well, at least not anymore. Surprisingly bitey. Not sure if it counts as a myth, but most TV portrayals, the guy's a dumbass and depends on his wife for literally everything. It's annoying and played out. I don't know anyone close to my age that lives like that. Homer Simpson was always a bit of an idiot, but he also sacrificed everything for his family and worked hard to provide for them. But now they just write him like he's some worthless bum who does nothing and is a burden to everyone around him. If any of the newer Simpsons writers are reading this, you. You suck. We're all unable to control our nature to have sex. Believe me, if I couldn't control myself you'd have noticed by now. Yo, my first gold on Reddit ever. Thanks, you beautiful human beings. There are plenty of fish in the sea, just get over it. You. I liked that fish, even if it was kinda mean and cruel. Men can't be abused by women. The whole men think about sex every 7 seconds thing. If you think that's true, I have a bridge in Brooklyn to sell you. Is the bridge sexy though? That we can never not be in the mood, and if we are, we must be sick or cheating. Men can't multitask. Every time I hear that, I have to stop what I am doing so I can get angry. It's getting better now, but back in the day basically every guy on TV was a sports obsessed, car, motorcycle loving, beer swilling moron who couldn't function without his wife to look after him and the kids. My wife went away last week for work and I'll have you know that only half my kids got eaten by wolves. I'll never understand the very common belief that men can't or refuse to care for children. Looks like it's more culture specific. Being with the father figure by mother, grandma, like if you messed up or misbehave, if your dad finds out you'll be in trouble. Worst case is when dad is told the story in a way that he gets angry and fulfills those threats. It wasn't only in my case. Most of the guys I've been talking with had the same case. Like, WTF? Just because I have a dick and you have a vagina doesn't mean I'm trying to get in your pants. I want friends just like anyone else. But when I try to talk to people like my guy friends, they assume I'm trying to date them. No, I just like asking my friends how they were because I hate people who only talk to you when they want something. So I talk to everyone as a show of you are my friend, not the services you offer. Showing emotion is a weakness. It isn't. We have just as many emotions as women, and our emotions are just as valid. We are less mature than women, no exceptions. That we're all not interested in or incapable of being involved in the planning of our weddings. I cannot tell you how many comments like "Remember, it's her day, not yours," I received during the 2-year lead up to our wedding. I'm not going to lie to you and say I'd been looking forward to getting married since I was 12 or something, but I took an active interest together with my wife in the planning of our wedding. It's not my day, it's hers. That. It was our day. We planned it together. Her vision definitely brought it all together and she did a astounding job. But she didn't just make decisions on her own. We talked together about and worked together on every single thing involved in the event. And we were both ecstatic with how it turned out. It turned out beautifully. I try not to toot my own horn very often, but I never thought the best party I'd ever go to would end up being my own. All men are perverted scumbags that only want sex. The only reason men exist is to meet the needs of my family. In the span of 8 months I moved my family to their reservation, bought a car and truck, restored a trailer, rebuilt the motor to my truck, bought my son a motorcycle, plus met everyone my wife and son had, all while working 6 days a week. After 7 months I snapped. My wife said, "I had no idea that you felt this tired." In that time I took 1 weekend off, then some prick burned my house down. I going on a full year of not taking personal time because of the rebuild. At one point I was skipping showering for a week at a time because I would just drop without warning. Men have limits too. A family should take care of each other, not a single person taking care of the family. That we only tell women our feelings to coerce them into bed. Like, wow, how new and amazing this relationship is. I'm so glad I found you. That is uncomfortable vulnerability, not some sort of plot to coerce them into be, or that sex is something men take from women, that it is something women hold and give out to men, instead of thinking of sex as something enjoyable that both partners want to do together. It is this weird game. This whole be a man shtick that leads guys to internalize their problems and marinate in their own issues and neglect their mental health drives me nuts. It took me a long time to find female friends just so I'd feel comfortable talking about my depression and get advice on how to get the help I need. If I did not, I would without a doubt be dead right now. I stamp this thinking out wherever I can find it. It was almost the death of me. I really hate how fruity drinks are associated with women. Like, damn, can I just enjoy my strawberry daiquiri? My wife is going to earn twice as much as me when she's done with her study, so I'm gonna work for 2 to 3 days and take care of the kids when she's done. People act like I'm a traitor to the whole male race and that I'm crazy of being a half stay-at-home dad. Maybe I like to stay at home to spend time with my kids. Me having big feet only means that I wear big shoes. And seriously, what makes girls think they can just come up to you and ask about it? Get too close to a child and you are automatically branded a pedophile. I work as low-tier manager in toy store, and even though I have company t-shirt and name tag, people still ask me if I work there. People still look at me weird when I am going around the store doing whatever. It's sometimes hard to ignore. I just hope people will understand that working at my dream job doesn't mean I want to do stuff to their kids. It hurts sometimes. Men are worse communicators than women. Really depends on the man and the woman. Every year there are people who complain I work there. Never been a fan of men can't go 6 seconds without thinking about sex. I mean, yeah, we all go around rock hard ready to hump something all hours of every day all the time. I often find the women who scream that ultimately have nothing else to offer in a relationship, so they accuse men,